So one day I was playing Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, trying to break the game as one tends to do pretty often, whenever I came across this really interesting marking that was on the wall in the Afton boss fight area. This started making me think about what we actually know about this game, so I dug deeper, and I may have found evidence of something that will shatter absolutely everything we know about this game so far. Evidence that may prove that there's actually two Vanessas rather than just one, that they're sharing the same exact identity, and not only that, but one of them is being tortured by the other in one of the most horrific ways in order to gain compliance over their mind. Now, our theory today, I like calling it the good cop, bad cop theory. In order to understand where we are beginning, gotta look at the end of the game. But not the endings that we're used to, not the escape ending or like the Afton ending or whatever. But we're actually looking at the fire escape ending. Probably one of the most confusing and vague endings in Security Breach. But unlike what people think, I believe this may actually be one of the most straightforward endings we've ever gotten in the history of Fnaf. So, let's lay it out for those who don't know. The way the ending starts is you have to go through a fire escape door found in the prize room above the main lobby. When this happens, you cut to a cutscene where Gregory and Freddy are in the room filled with plushies and merchandise. And as Freddy looks at one of the plushies, he makes a split decision to erase all of the memory that's associated with the Pizzaplex. So he lights a torch, coming from his fingertip of all places, and lights the merchandise on fire before leaving through the door. Gregory gets up the stairs before Freddy does, and he finds that Vanny is actually on the roof, and she attacks him, essentially just grabbing him before Freddy comes up to the roof as well, with the ability to actually see Vanny this time, and he decides to charge her, knocking them both off of the roof and leading them to their death at the very bottom of the building. Gregory goes down to the very bottom and examines both of them. He takes the mask off of Vanny's face and whoa, lo and behold, it's actually Vanessa. Whoop-de-doo, big surprise. But after the very end of the credit roll, we find that there's actually another Vanessa on the very top of the roof looking down at both Freddy and Vanny on the ground. And what exactly does that mean? I mean, obviously it means that there's two Vanessas, but what does that imply for the whole series? Now that I've given a recap, what the heck does that mean? Well, as I said before, this may be one of the most straightforward endings we've ever gotten in the Fnaf franchise. And as you may have suspected, this is where the theory of two Vanessas comes into play. Now, this theory has been thrown around in a couple of game theory videos and Fnaf videos. Fuhnaff, the Fnaf, not Fnaf, but these videos have never gotten to any real conclusions about this theory. The obvious thing we've gathered from the fire ending is that there are two Vanessas. Wow. In addition to the theory that there are in fact two Vanessas, I can also bring up the fact of the VR sisters, which in case if you all didn't know, happened in Fury's Rage, which is basically a mini game they released before Security Breach, and those were one of the bosses you had to fight during the game, and they're both wearing VR headsets, and they're twins. So that also may suggest to there being two Vanessas as well, since both of those characters were in Fnaf VR. With all of this information, I decided to scour every single square foot of the Pizzaplex for every single small detail. But what did I actually find? This in fact leads us to our second ending we're going to look at, the Vanny ending. This one is fairly common and known by gamers all around the world, so I won't really spend much time recapping it, but shortly, Freddy gets absolutely destroyed by the staff bots, and Vanny chases you through Phaser Blast up to her room, which contains the Princess Quest 3 minigame and a button to control all of the staff bots. You press the button and kill Vanny. The thing I want to focus on is the room itself, where the Princess Quest 3 minigame is. It's a small living area with a bed on the ground and a graphic above the bed that has the name Vanny spray painted on it. And next to it is the Princess Quest 3 arcade cabinet. And why would I actually call this out? Because if we take a look at our final ending we're looking at, the Afton ending, we can take a look at the area where it takes place. A room with 3 monitors, a charging station, some pizza boxes, obviously. But in the corner of the room, lo and behold, we see a small bed on the ground with a similar graphic of Vanny's face in spray paint above the bed, with a corrupted BB World arcade cabinet right next to it. It's a direct match. But there is one very small difference to be found between the rooms. In the burn trap room, we see something else on the wall near the Vanny spray paint. Tally marks, which are very reminiscent of prison tallies, which count the days the prisoner has been in there. But why would this be here? Why would it be in the one room and not the other? This is because not only are there two Vanessa, but what it seems is that Vanessa 1, aka Vanny, under the control of Glitchtrap, is making their best effort to induce compliance into Vanessa 2, aka the security guard, trying to force her under Glitchtrap's control as well. Now, you may not be convinced quite yet, but I do have more evidence. For that, we gotta look through the Fnaf AR emails. In the emails, I'm sure you all are familiar, these emails follow Lewis, an IT person who monitors red flags made by coworkers' browser history, and Vanessa, our best friend, security guard / murderous rabbit lady. These emails talk about Vanessa's search history and how she's getting off a lot of red flags with her search history, searching how far can a human be cut in half before it loses consciousness, or how to induce compliance into human subjects, as well as a few other freaky ones. Originally, the theory was that these searches were coming from Glitchtrap inside Vanessa's mind in an effort to gain control over Vanessa. But it doesn't really make sense, does it? Why would William Afton in Vanessa's mind be struggling to gain control over her motor functions and her whole consciousness? Because as it's shown in Fnaf VR, whenever you're taken over by Glitchtrap, you're locked away, and he can do whatever he wants with your body. But what if this is not actually Glitchtrap inside Vanessa's mind, but Vanessa 1 herself searching ways to make Vanessa 2 fall under Glitchtrap's control? That makes the search how to induce compliance into human subjects take on a much more purposeful meaning. But that's not all. In the recent Fuhnaff theory about security breach, John calls out that Vanessa has ordered thumbscrews online and had them delivered to their office. For those who are not yet familiar, a thumbscrew is an ancient device used to torture people by compressing their thumbs, hence the name thumbscrew. John theorized that the thumbscrews were intercepted by Lewis and put into the room above this daycare for safekeeping. Wait, did you all catch that? Thumbscrews are torture devices. What better way to get a human to follow your directions than by torturing them? This means that not only is Vanessa 2 trapped in the Afton boss fight for days, she's also being tortured non-stop during those days until she finally complies and lets the BB World arcade machine take over her mind. Now, y'all may be confused why I think the BB World machine is meant to corrupt the mind. So let's just go ahead and go back on that. For this, we need to go back to the very first Princess Quest game, which is also the same minigame that you have in Fnaf VR. This game follows the princess, the main character, as she lights lanterns and walks through mazes to get to the end of the game. The end being her walking down a long corridor to end up in a room where she's being trapped by Glitchtrap, and eventually Glitchtrap himself consumes and takes over the whole screen, leaving the princess completely removed from it. And what I'm assuming is Glitchtrap is in control of the person who was playing as the princess. Now, how exactly does this connect to the BB World minigame though? Well, as you play through it, it seems to be a simple Flappy Bird type game with Balloon Boy flying through the air and avoiding obstacles. But something's wrong with it. Every once in a while you will encounter a glitch that bugs the game out and forces the character to follow a very specific path to reach the end, aka a maze, quote unquote. At the end of it, the sun, with his evil smile, appears behind BB and takes over the whole screen with no escape for Balloon Boy. This seems to be a fairly strong parallel with the Princess Quest game, and the fact that both of the machines are located in very similar locations seems to imply that they are there for the same exact reason. In addition to this, in Security Breach we follow another character within the message logs on the Fazwatch who is trying to play all of the Princess Quest games and quote unquote save the princess. But something happens after he beats the first and second games. He writes a log that he cannot find the third game and that you must glitch them all at the same time to save the princess. But something goes wrong. We never hear anything else from this character about him beating Princess Quest 3. Something has stopped him, but what is that? Well, the very single last log from this character is found in the room above the daycare, right next to a BB World arcade machine. It's undeniable to me that these two areas, in the Vanny Room and then the Afton Room, are connected and are pointing to there being two Vanessas, and one is trying to gain control over the other using torture and corruption for Glitchtrap. But there is still one last question to answer. Why does Afton want both of the Vanessas under his control? What purpose do they serve? For this, the answer is found in the very first trailer for Security Breach. In the middle of the video, we are given this voice line that has never came up again and has never been understood by the Fnaf community.
You will do as I say. You will bring me what I want. And if you fail me, then you will. Both of you burn!
This voice is William Afton himself, ordering both Vanessas to bring him the one and only thing that truly matters to him anymore. His son, Gregory. Or else, Vanessa 1 and Vanessa 2 will have to face the same terrible death that he's experienced, being burned alive. Well, that does it for the theory today. I personally feel like these theories line up very well for the story of Five Nights at Freddy's, but with that being said, there's still mysteries to be solved in Security Breach and just in general Five Nights at Freddy's. Some of these mysteries have come from my search from Security Breach that I haven't really quite solved yet. A couple of those things have to do with Roxy's makeup salon, which seems to have much more importance to the game than we've believed so far, since inside the saloon there's a whole bunch of destruction, like broken mirrors and a wrecked go-kart in the very center next to the stage with a red glow around it, pretty much calling attention and importance to it. The farthest I've really gone with that is that Freddy mentioned that the guests had to leave suddenly because of an emergency. This could have been that emergency, like say a child wrecking the go-kart into the salon, but I haven't entirely proved that yet, so I will just let you all chew on that, and maybe if you all figure something out, you can mention it in the comments. In addition to that, I am also going to be working on a theory that may actually prove that Henry, yes, Henry Emily is actually still alive during the events of Security Breach. Sorry, Matt Pat, but that is in the process of being made right now, and I haven't entirely gotten the pieces put together, but hopefully soon I'll be able to find them all and then be able to make a video about it. With that being said, that is the end of the theory today. I appreciate you all watching if you even got this far, and if you did and you enjoyed it, make sure to tell me that in the comments, and hopefully I'll be able to make more theories like this. Alrighty guys, see you later nerds.